Well, the tag doesn't go on the antler when you do it this way. It goes with the largest portion of the meat and stays with the meat until it is eaten. Check on WDFW's website under tagging and transporting. This is a really good way to do it so you don't lose the tag. Now we're going to kind of do this backwards because I really wanted to do the review on this wilderness pack before we bone out this animal. I hunt with this pack on. It has all the things I need for a day hunt, like a lunch, filter for filtering the water for the water bladder that's in it, my knife, meat bags, and probably little extra odds and ends, more things than I really need. It's a 2,000 square inch pack. I can fit my rain gear in it too if I need to. Let me show you its features. This is how you use it. We're just going to take the day bag off on one side by taking off these straps. Then put the meat in the handy pack. By loosening these straps on the handy pack, and we'll just stuff the meat in there.
Need some help there.
And tighten up the load. You can pack out a whole boned out deer on this pack easy. I've done it lots of times. It's not a big deal. This isn't a whole deer because these guys wanted to put back straps in this little bag and put something over here and liver over there. And I just put it all in one bag and cinch her down to this pack and head out across the mountain, you know. Yeah, it just simplifies things. We'll just tuck this tag in here. Make sure it don't get ripped off the bag.
I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Step on my fucking big meat bag.
I didn't want it.
Of this pack works. I haven't used it yet, so. Now we'll have to loosen up the straps on the opposite side of the bag so that the bag will ride evenly over top of the meat. Now we have to run the bag straps back through the frame and back up to the tighteners so we can cinch the bag down to the frame. So yeah, we got a big pack out here. We're about 50 yards from the guy's house. I killed a deer. My friend Larry there, he got this nice 3-point. And, well, hey, anyways, you know, the nice thing about it is if you're way out there, there's no trip back to the rig to get your pack frame. You're hunting with your frame on. You're hunting with your day bag on. You got everything you need to just kill a deer and pack it out in one trip. On an elk, you know, you're going to be a few trips. But at least you don't have to make that hike all the way back to the truck to get a pack frame. The frame and the pack are extremely light and very comfortable to wear while you're hunting. If you sit down with this pack on a slight incline and lean back against the incline like I am right now, dude, you're gonna fall asleep. So you got to watch that. You might wake up to something stomping its feet, and you know. Yeah, I can't say enough about how nice it's been to hunt with this pack. I've killed quite a few big game animals with it on. I never take it off to shoot. It's not in the way. The pack, the frame, and all the stuff I have in it doesn't weigh out at any more than about 12 pounds in most cases. Yeah, I'd say this is a 5-star item. I have to mention that the price is really good too, and the people at Wilderness Pack are awesome to deal with. Excellent customer service. So my friend Larry Juve killed this beautiful 3-point buck with his bow, and today we're going to show you how to bone it out the way I do it, the gutless method. And we're not quartering it. We're actually just going to take the meat off the bone without gutting it. Larry decided he wanted to get this buck mounted as well, so we're going to cape it at the same time and get it ready to take it to the taxidermist. We're also going to slip in a review for my new hunting knife made by Stuart Taylor at Circle Hook Forge. This is a titanium blade knife. It has a carbonized edge on one side, and it works awesome. Now, this is the first time I've used this knife, and I admit there was a little bit of a learning curve to getting used to using the carbonized edge, so I'm fighting it a little bit here getting started. But I like to start right here for two reasons. One, the hide is thinner and easier to cut, and also once you get that all opened up, then you'll have a kind of a blanket that lays back to, if you happen to drop any meat, you're not dropping it in the dirt. We just happen to have that tarp right there close, so we went ahead and used it. But you can do this without a tarp, and it'll come out just fine. Yeah, there was, like I said, a learning curve with this knife. I gotta say, it cuts hide better than anything I've ever tried to cut hide with. There was also a learning curve to sharpening it. I'm not used to sharpening one side of the edge of a knife blade. But yeah, what we're gonna do here is just lay this open, and I'm going to just come up to about the middle of the belly, because remember, we're caping this, so you don't want to go past about where I am there, because it's you want to leave enough for the taxidermist. You want to leave extra. So now we're going to go up the side right here, straight this way, clear to the back. So because this knife is a titanium blade knife, it's super lightweight, and it's really nice to use and operate. The learning curve of the carbon, you catch on to it pretty quick, and the carbonized edge is just wonderful. It stayed sharp. We did have to touch it up once, and you'll get to see that here in a little while and why we had to touch it up. So what we're going to do is lay this hide back open all the way down over the back side of the quarter. Now, even if you're not caping this, you really don't want to open up any more of this animal than you need to at a time because of bugs, dirt, or whatever. You can keep it a lot cleaner if you just take off the hide from the meat that you're trying to remove at the time, and then move forward as you go. Now, you can do this by yourself. You don't really need help. A lot of times I'll scooch it over underneath a tree where I can just tie a little cord off the leg to hold it straight up for me. That makes it a little bit easier. If there's not one, though, you can just do it laying in the middle of a field if you want to, or wherever. Now we're just going to remove this little muscle group up here that goes from the ankle to the knee. We'll get that off and in a bag. You don't have to get this quarter off all in one piece. You can take it off by meat section if you want. Always remember to cut towards your buddy, not your body. Like I said, you can do it by yourself, but it's nice to have a little help. Even when you got cartoons like these two bumping the camera and, can't get a meat bag ready when the piece is already off. Now we're just going to cut around this bone and just pull this quarter right down the bone and just get it off of there. Now back to this knife a little bit. Not that it was a problem, but I noticed that one of the things it didn't cut very well was the rubbery substances in some of the areas. I mean, not that it didn't cut it. It was just a little tougher than I thought it should be to get through it. And I found I had to slide the knife back and forth like a saw. Now, if you spread that piece of hide out that you took off of there, just kind of lay it there like a blanket, And if this piece of meat droops down there, you know, it's not getting in leaves or getting all goofy in the dirt. And you want to cut, to get it off the bone, you're going to cut in the thinnest area of the meat so that you're not maybe losing some steaks. Oh, look there. They're good help sometimes. Actually, I love these guys like brothers, man. I'm gonna pick on them though throughout the whole video. I know there's some people saying, well, why don't you just remove the quarter and lay it down and take the meat off? 2 reasons. Where are you gonna put it when you haven't got a place to put it without getting it dirty? And the other thing is you're gonna be chasing it around in circles. It's nice and stable right where it's at. Now we're just working our way around this bone and just cutting this meat back off of the bone and just letting it kind of hang there. And remember, if it droops down a little bit, it's just going to be on that nice clean blanket of skin that you laid out there. It's not going to be in the leaves or dirt. Now don't totally remove this quarter meat until you get a meat bag over there. I'll show you a little trick here. So just before that quarter is ready to fall off and you only have just a little more to cut, I'm going to get one of these meat bags. I like the Alaska ones that roll up. Kind of look like a condom, but anyway, we'll wrap that around that meat and just unroll it right around that quarter. Now, this ensures that you're not going to drop it and get it dirty. You can take a little extra time, man. We're in no hurry. Even if it gets dark, you can still do this. And now I'm just going to cut that off. It's inside the bag. And just going to make a few little cuts there to remove it from the bone, and boom, voila. If that's an elk, that bag's done. Tie it shut. And get out another bag. I guess you could get off any little pieces you might have missed. I guess I missed a little tiny bit back there. Of course, Larry here, he wants to put it in this other little goodie bag here. So we'll just put it in there. Myself, I put it in the other bag. And when you're doing a deer, that meat fits, all of it on that deer will fit in that one large game bag. Now what I'm doing here is I forgot to leave the door attached to that quarter over there. So another fish and game rule is that you have to have a sexual organ attached to one of the quarters when you're boning these animals out like this. So what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting up that other quarter and leaving a piece of the penis attached to the quarter. You could see that if Larry wasn't standing in front of the camera. I'm doing it now so I don't forget later. Now you don't have to remove that leg bone. You just leave it hang right on the socket. No sense in getting your knife in there in between that socket or anything. Now remember, we're caping it. I like to, you can just tube skin this thing. You don't have to cut up the back. If the taxidermist wants, he might want to mount that tube skin. You won't have to do all that sewing up the back there. If he wants to cut it up the back, at least he can make the cut straight up that black line the way he wants to do it. Maybe he wants to leave some line-up points or things like that for when he's sewing. So what I do is just go down through the brisket here and start peeling this back. And then I'm going to lift up the leg here in a minute and show you how that goes. But right now we're just going to tube it back and just keep on coming back over the shoulder. And here we go. We're going to go up through here, right up the back side of the leg, all the way to that first, I mean, you might as well go down that leg a ways. Give that taxidermist plenty of hide when you're doing this stuff. We're going to come up this white. If you just go up through the white right there, he'll have everything he needs. And then we're just going to cut right around the leg at that knee joint right there. And he'll have more hide than he needs to do that. No smoking. I'm Tyrone. Don't you know smoking's bad? I'm out here saving lives. Now, one of the things I had to get used to with this knife was the fact that it cut through hide so well that I had to be careful skinning, or I would nick it. And I had to learn which side of the blade to put against the hide so that it didn't accidentally cut through it so easily.
Well, that won't bother him no more.
Nope. Save him from a long, hard winter, Larry. You done him a favor.
He might have been scrapping.
Oh, there's some nicks on his cape up there too, where yeah, they've been trying to bully somebody around. I'd be almost willing to bet that he got shot once before. That's what that bald spot is up there.
Yeah, he got a big abscess right there in the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
That is. I've never seen that.
In front of you.
Yerky.
Now we're just going to bone out this little meat while we're right here and get that off that lower part of the leg and get it in their extra little meat baggie here. Now we're just going to take this skin back and expose this shoulder here. And like I said, you just don't need to take off any more hide than you need to. You know, like we're just taking off this quarter right here. So that's all we need to get off of there at one time to get that quarter off. And that meat doesn't start to, you know, get dry or get bugs on it or anything like that. You'll keep it really clean that way. So I'm just going to roll this hide back and get it off the shoulder. And then I'll show you how to take these meat sections off of that shoulder blade right there while it's on the animal. There we go right here. You can see that bone sticking up. That's the scapula. And it just runs through there. You can kind of see it and you can feel it. And you just want to cut down on both sides of it. We'll do the right side first. And we're just going to take those pieces of meat right off the top of the scapula, right there where it lays. Like I said, it's a nice stable platform to pull from while it's still connected to the animal like that. And we don't have to worry about it rolling around. Now, if you notice, this knife is still staying sharp. We're getting on down through here. It's holding the edge really well. We haven't ran into any troubles yet. She's sharp as can be. Put it in here.
Yeah.
This here, I'm just gonna leave that. I don't think that's something the guy wants to be taking with him, per se. Now we're just on the opposite side of that shoulder blade from the last time. You know what that bone looks like. And that's why they call that a shoulder blade, because that looks like a blade sticking up there. Well, there's a steak on either side of that, or hamburger meat, or whatever you want to do with it. Now, there's also some meat right on the back of that. So you tip that upside down, that shoulder blade, and just go right down it like that. And then just remove it, just like that. And pretty much got all the meat right off that scapula. I'm leaving that because of that.
Yeah, right.
Feel that right there? See that line?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to go down that line all the way to the rib cage, and then just keep going down the rib cage with it. Now you get a little of Dean's sense of humor here. Larry shot this on his own property.
So which neighbor's property is this? This guy over here? Oh. The one you didn't get permission from?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's ever going to know.
I don't think so.
I think I'll go over and knock on the door and let them know, hey, I've seen some guys up there butchering a deer on your property. Sure you wasn't part of that? You kind of dressed in camel there, got the blood on you. Oh no, sir. I would never do anything like that. That's where you want that back strap in here.
Yeah.
I normally just grind that piece up into a burger. I think that's the part I skip with one of my buddies to tell him to take out. Otherwise, that's just make a burger out of it.
I got lucky I had that arrow hole to reach in there, lift up on the rib cage. As Larry shot it in the liver. But you can just reach around there and pick up on the outer edge of the rib cage. You have to lift up. If you don't pull up on it pretty hard, you'll cut the guts. So if you just keep lifting up and getting the knife between the gut bag and the rib cage, you can just go right around that rib cage till you get to the brisket. And
Takes a real good tracker.
I got another tool I usually use to go through the brisket, but I just wanted to see how this knife would do. And then that's kind of where
Tracked him right
I didn't
down.
like the. You don't go down the middle of the brisket.
No,
You go
we didn't
down
have green trail
the
on this one. Green trail's gut job.
Oh, I know
Just
that.
Green
on-
trail and green grass.
on the side of it. There's a soft area through there. It's still cartilage, and
He weren't no
the
good.
knife didn't do as well as I would have liked. Now right here's where I would have stopped, and I would have got out this tool right here. I got them on my hip anyway in a holster. I use them for cutting brush out of my way and making my trails better to go through. But you get that hook right there up underneath that brisket and just, you know, it's over quick. Yeah, you don't need a saw for that. That's if you go beside the brisket, there's a softer area in there. You can see I'm fighting it a little bit, finding the spot, but you can just go right through there with a knife and pull it. This knife dulled on that cartilage, and we had to touch it up a little bit right after this little procedure right here. But I mean, you could have still finished the animal, but now see where I went up right there? You got to leave about 3 little tiny ribs to make this work. Otherwise, it won't want to break over the back very well. I actually had to have Dean help me break it, but you just bust it over like that, and then you can just pick up on it and take it right off with the knife.
Yep.
Now you just take your knife down through where you
Dead center, right
broke
through.
those ribs off the backbone. Sometimes one will be up a little higher than the other, and you'll have a little problem getting between it. But if you open your eyes and get through there, it just cuts right off of there. Don't need a saw. And now, if you want the liver, if you do the passenger side of the animal first, the liver will be right up there where you can get at it. The liver's on the passenger side. So, anyway, that's the way this one come out. We just had it laying on that side and pull that liver right out of there. It's really good smoked. I hate it otherwise. So if you want to get the heart, get it now. It's right there. Just reach in there, cut that heart out of there, and get a little ponytail in your way while you're doing it. And then, because we're going to flip it over next, and then that way, you know, it doesn't end up getting dirty. So once we get the heart, we're going to roll this thing over. We're not going to show you the whole other side because you already know how to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how to fillet a rib cage. And we're going to show you how to get the neck meat off before it's over. You can see one of these cartoon characters bump the camera again. Here we go with a little target practice. Okay, we've already boned out the rear quarter, we've boned out the front shoulder and leg, and taken the back strap off, and now we're going to show you how to fillet a rib cage. See, I like my deer ribs with the meat on the bone, and I like to barbecue them. They come out awesome. But for those of you who don't care, and then elk, this is the way I do an elk too. I don't care for bone-on ribs with an elk. But deer I do. So that's how I usually do a deer. Both sides is how we did the other side. Now when we don't want to do it, this is how you do it. It's super quick and easy. It's a little faster than getting that rib cage off. But for me, it's worth the extra effort when it comes time to have barbecue ribs. My wife loves them too, and so do my friends. I seen a video one time where somebody cooked the ribs after doing what I just did here, and they got some recipe that's pretty good, I guess, but I don't remember what it was called or whatever, but you can look it up online, probably find one. I just throw it in the hamburger meat, and then it just becomes more hamburger if I fillet the rib cage. I don't save it for steaks or anything. But anyway, it comes right off there. Not much of a problem. As you can see, they're not ready with the meat bag again. Hello? Here again, if you just put that meat in the meat bag first, there's no chance of dropping it in the dirt. You get about 3/4 of it in that meat bag, you know, your hands get slippery and stuff, and if you drop it, guess where it goes? Right in the meat bag.
By that audience too. Good time to get the tenderloins.
That's right. You guys thought I was gonna forget the tenderloins, didn't you? Nope. It's easy though to forget them. It's the last thing you do because once you roll this thing over, the guts fall out. Especially with that rib cage off on the other side. So now they're nowhere near those tenderloins. You can take those tenderloins out so easy without ever even coming close to the gut bag. And you just reach in there and cut them out. I know we didn't get the best view here. Larry's camera's got a dead battery. Mine's a half a mile away, but on target this time. Anyways, you just cut them both out from right there. And that's the most of it. We got the neck meat and how we're going to finish out up to the bottom of the neck. Now this whole procedure from start to finish, especially if you're not caping it, takes a little longer when you're caping it. But yeah, it should only take about 35, 40 minutes, maybe 45. Unless you're no gummer like us, then it could take you a little longer. I still do them in about 40 minutes all by myself without even help when I'm not caping. An elk with one guy holding legs and one guy cutting, I can do this whole procedure right here in 2 hours and have the meat off the bone, in bags, ready to pack.
Take the skin off. A lot of neck meat down here, see? And stencil neck.
Oh, yeah. He's a stud. put that neck meat in a different bag, Larry?
Oh, look at that. Meat bag at the ready. And you're just going to do the same thing on the other side, so we're not going to show you the other side of the neck, and you got to get the brisket meat. And this is how you get the head off. And then you just go between one of the vertebrae with that knife to pop the head off, and just take it to the taxidermist that way. That way you don't nick up the face and all that. We just showed you that, but we wanted to show you the cool camo pattern of the Kuyu gear.